Hi, Manley Mclachlan, President of the BC Construction Association, and with our September update. So summer's over, holidays are done, and it's time for all of us to get back to work. And from BCCA's perspective, we are back with our noses to the grindstone and our shoulders to the wheel. So I want to speak today about an issue that's been around now for well over 8 or 9 years. Certainly longer than I've been around, and it has to do with all of the issues related to government procurement or public procurement processes. So the issues that have emerged over the last number of years all relate to the choices of procurement practices, and probably all come to a head around efforts that have been made in the past by government Treasury Board to mandate one procurement process over any others. Now, BCCA clearly does not advocate for one form of delivery process over another. We recognize there are a range of processes that are available to the public sector, and we see there are basic principles that need to fall into place. Open, fair, transparent process, best value for taxpayers' dollars are the critical 4 principles. So the mandating of one process over another is problematic because that process may not be the right one for that given project. The reality is one size doesn't fit all, and we believe and recognize that it's prudent for managers to explore all of their options to ensure there is an open, fair, transparent process, but obviously also good value for taxpayers' dollars. So at the July board meeting, the BCCA board meeting, a guideline was developed, was presented and ratified by the board, and it's a recommended guidelines for the selection of construction procurement delivery method. This guideline is an amalgamation of a number of documents that have been in existence across the number of years, and it's designed to help someone in the public sector who may not be familiar with construction procurement, and it's a good review of the pros and cons of each process, and it's a good review of where one process may be more suited given a certain set of circumstances. So we would encourage public sector to pursue this, to read it, to consider it, and to use it in their evaluations. And we also recommend industry to become aware of it, because industry players, so that they're well aware of BCCA's position on all of this. Now, in the effort to secure best value, one of the items that came up that BCCA cannot agree with is the notion of bundling projects for the sake of bundling them for efficiency in pricing and efficiency perhaps in delivery. Again, one size doesn't fit all. We can see the value, of course, in efficient economies of scale and those types of things. But when it comes to bundling projects, we believe there are consequences that occur in the local industry level that in fact would be unintended consequences and could have a very negative impact on local industry and their opportunity to pursue and participate in what would be a local project. So we've become aware of a report that was generated by Deloitte & Touche for the education sector. It's all about how they're going to approach public procurement in the future. The report refers to a shared services model for project development, and frankly we have no issue with that. We think that there are efficiencies that can be achieved in that shared services approach, but what we do have an issue with is the notion that efficiencies can automatically be generated by bundling schools across the province. And we suggest that where jurisdictions have used that approach, it hasn't necessarily been that successful, and has had an impact on local industry in a way that is detrimental to them as taxpayers and as employers. And we all know that at the local level, when local industry is, because of process, is not able to participate in the local school project, for instance, that's not good for anyone. Now, we also recognize the world's changing, that proposed changes will occur. We just remind those in the position of making those kinds of decisions that a small change at the top has a cascading effect down through the procurement chain, and we would encourage folks in government who are making these kinds of considerations to look closely at the consequences for local industry. BCCA will not support the bundling, and we will be encouraging government as we engage throughout the fall and winter to take very seriously the impact that bundling of those types of projects can have across the whole industry. So have a good fall, and we'll talk to you next month.